If you're watching this, you probably already know that something very wrong happened to me. But I need to tell everything before it's too late. I don't know how much time I have left, so I'll get straight to the point. It was 3 days ago. I decided to camp alone in this forest because I needed to escape the city, the people, the noise. I thought it would be peaceful, you know? Just me, nature, and silence. But this forest it's not normal. The first night was fine. I lit a campfire, made dinner, and slept in my tent. But on the second night, things changed. I heard voices. At first I thought they were hunters or another group camping far away. But the voices, they were different. They came from all around me, whispering things I couldn't quite understand. And the worst part? They knew my name. They said, "Marcos, come to us. You know where we are." It was like they were calling me to a specific place. I tried to ignore them, of course. Who wouldn't? But then, I saw something. A faint light flickering between the trees. It wasn't natural. It looked more like a ghostly glow, as if it were coming from inside the forest. I knew I shouldn't go, but something inside me, something pulled me toward it, as if I had no choice. I grabbed my flashlight and followed the light. With every step, the air grew heavier, colder. The sounds of the forest disappeared completely. No crickets, no wind, nothing. Just my footsteps and that light ahead. Until I reached a clearing, and there, in the center, stood a figure facing away from me. It looked like a woman in white with long hair covering her face. She didn't move, but I could feel that she knew I was there. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't obey. Then, she started turning slowly. When I finally saw her face, there was nothing there. Nothing but darkness, like a bottomless void. And those whispers, they came back, only now they were inside my head. They said, "You belong to us now." I ran back to the campfire, but when I got there, I realized something was wrong. My tent, it was torn apart, as if something had attacked it. And there were marks on the ground around the campsite, huge claw marks, deep scratches in the dirt. That's when I understood. I wasn't alone. Now, as I'm telling you this, I can hear the whispers again. They're louder, closer. They're surrounding me. If you find this video, please, don't come looking for me. Don't follow the light. Don't listen to the whispers, because if you do, they'll get you too. If you're watching this, you probably already realize that something very wrong happened to me. But I need to tell everything before it's too late. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this, so I'll get straight to the point. 5 days ago, I moved into an old house on the outskirts of town. It was cheap, isolated, and needed repairs. But I thought it would be perfect to start over after everything I've been through. The realtor said the house had been abandoned for years, but he didn't explain why. Now I know. At first, it seemed normal. Old walls, the smell of mold, that typical silence of old houses. But on the first night, things started to change. I heard footsteps upstairs. Heavy footsteps, as if someone were pacing back and forth. I went up to check, but there was no one there. Just dust and furniture covered with sheets. On the second night, I found something strange. A locked door at the end of the hallway. Hadn't noticed it before, but it was there, as if it had appeared out of nowhere. It was different from the other doors, made of dark wood, with deep scratch marks on it. There was something written on it, carved into the wood. "Do not open." Of course, I ignored the warning. Who wouldn't? I found a rusty key in the kitchen drawer and used it to unlock the door. When I opened it, I felt a cold wind coming from inside, even though it was a warm night. And there was a smell. A horrible smell, like rotting meat mixed with wet earth. Inside, it was pitch black. Not even my flashlight could illuminate the space. It was as if the room sucked up all the light. But I went in anyway. At first, I could only hear my own breathing. But then, I heard laughter. Distant, childish laughter, as if it were coming from another world. It echoed around me, getting louder and louder until I could barely think straight. That's when I saw the drawings on the walls. They weren't paintings or wallpaper. They were hand-scratched marks, as if a child had used black chalk to scribble. But the drawings, they showed people being pulled into holes in the ground by huge, deformed hands. And in every drawing, there was a figure watching from afar. A woman in white with a face that had no eyes. I tried to run, but the door slammed shut behind me. I screamed, pounded on it, but nothing happened. That's when I heard the voice, a soft, almost whispered voice saying, "You chose to enter." Somehow, I managed to escape. I don't know how. When I returned to the hallway, the door was gone. It simply wasn't there anymore. But since that night, things have gotten worse. The footsteps are constant now. The laughter echoes through the house during the day, too. And sometimes, when I wake up, I see new drawings on the walls of my bedroom, the same ones I saw in that room. Now, as I'm telling you this, I can feel that something is here with me. I can hear footsteps upstairs again. They're closer. If you find this video, please, never open a door you shouldn't, because once it's open, there's no closing it. If you're watching this, you probably already know that something very wrong happened to me. But I need to tell everything before it's too late. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this, so I'll get straight to the point. A week ago, I decided to visit an old thrift store on the outskirts of town. It was a strange place, full of dusty objects and old furniture. The owner seemed nervous, as if he were anxious to get rid of everything there. While I was browsing, something caught my eye. A porcelain doll sitting alone on a high shelf. She was beautiful, but there was something unsettling about her. Her eyes were big and glassy, and they seemed to follow me as I walked around the store. The owner warned me not to touch her. He said she wasn't safe, and that he only kept her there because no one else wanted to buy her. Of course, that only made me more curious. I paid what he asked, almost nothing, and took the doll home. At first, it seemed normal. I placed her on the living room shelf and went about my life. But that night, things began to change. I heard faint laughter, coming from the living room. Childish laughter, as if a kid were playing in the dark. I went to check and found the doll on the floor, lying on its back. I thought maybe a cat or something had knocked her over, so I put her back on the shelf. But the next night, it happened again. And this time, her arms were positioned differently. It looked like she was trying to reach for something. I started feeling like I was being watched. Every time I entered the living room, I had the sensation that the doll was staring directly at me, no matter where I was. Then I started having dreams. Vivid, terrifying dreams. I was in a dark forest, surrounded by twisted trees and thick fog. In the center of the forest, there was a clearing, and there she was, the doll sitting on the ground staring at me. When I tried to approach, she started laughing. A high-pitched, cruel laugh that echoed in my mind even after I woke up. The deal. Dreams got more intense each night. Until last night, something happened. I woke up suddenly at 3:33 a.m. The room was freezing, and there was something at the foot of my bed. It was the doll. She wasn't on the shelf anymore. She was sitting at the foot of my bed, staring at me. Her mouth was open, as if she were about to speak. I tried to scream, but my voice wouldn't come out. Then she whispered, "You're mine now." I tried to get rid of her. I threw the doll in the trash, took her outside, even tried to break her. But no matter what I did, she always came back. She kept appearing in different places, on my dining table, in the car seat, even inside the kitchen cabinet. Now, as I'm telling you this, I can feel her here with me. I can hear her faint laughter in the back of my mind. She's watching me. Waiting. If you find this video, please, never take a doll you shouldn't. Because once she chooses you, there's no escaping.